Hello there. So first of all, if you haven't checked out Mr. Andy James yet, then what are you waiting for? This guy is not only one of the best, absolute best shredders around, but he's also a phenomenal songwriter, and I think that combination is very unusual. So yes, do check him out. Now speaking of songwriting and backing tracks, I want to say a few words about that, because to me, more than 50% of the impression you get from someone, jamming like I just did, actually comes from the backing track. So to me, it's crucial finding cool backing tracks, not only because I need that to be inspired on a daily basis, but also because I can't really record anything without a backing track. I've tried doing a cappella stuff and where I just record myself shredding or whatever without a backing track, and it sounds really bad. Of course, when I find the time, I try to write my own songs as well. But for my daily day-to-day jamming, it's definitely I go for backing tracks I just find randomly on YouTube. And my advice here is, if you haven't tried it yet, then maybe you should do it. Because if you're having trouble sounding like your heroes and you've never played over a backing track, I think you're in for some surprises. Now, a few pointers about that. A lot of people dial in a sound that sounds big and fat on its own, that is bass heavy and but listen to my sound here. There's not a lot of bass going on, so turn down the bass and dial in some more treble, mid-range, or even high-end presence. That's how you're going to be heard in the mix without raising your guitar volume to the point that you can't even hear the backing track anymore. So if you get that right, then the next step is to dial in some reverb and or delay. You can hear I have quite a bit of that here. So without it, sounds like this. So it's really dry. And, our ears are used to hearing music, in a room, so almost any backing track you can find is going to have quite a bit of reverb and delay on it. Usually it's the snare that gets a lot of that, but also like the lead vocals and stuff like that. There's lots of it going on. So if you don't have any of that on your guitar, things are not going to blend well. It's going to sound like you're in a completely different room than the backing track. So those are two important things. You got to make sure you don't have a super bass heavy sound, and you got to make sure you have a little bit of wetness on your sound, like reverb and delay. So if you can get that right, I really think you're in for a surprise if you haven't recorded yourself over a backing track yet. So do try that out. I should also say just a few words about this guitar, because recently I've lowered the action on it, so it's super low. So I've measured it, and it's like here on the 12th fret, it's less than a millimeter, so it's like 08 or 09. And it has its disadvantages, especially down here. You get a bit of buzz and string or fret noise, but I can still do some bending. So it works, and most importantly, legato is much more easy for me with low string action. So that kind of thing really makes it easier. I know some people can pull it off without low string action, but I could never do that, especially for the stretchier stuff, where I somehow feel that my hand gets weaker. So I really need the low action for that. So yeah, those are two little pointers or things to consider. And I hope to see you next time. Cheers.